Well, now we move to the realm of arts and culture. We're joined by photographer Siphiwe Mhlambi, who speaks to us about his recent exhibition introducing photography in our mother tongue as part of Standard Bank Arts. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Siphiwe. We're going to put up some of your pictures, but I just want to talk to you about the connection, the correlation between arts, your model obviously is photography, and the mother tongue. How do we connect the two, and why is it important?
Good evening, Sister Siphiwe. The connection, the way it came to me, I'm a visual artist, so I communicate through my own mother tongue. But the images tell the story rather than me vocally saying it. But it says from the depth of my heart, the way I express it. I felt the connection when it came, when I got an invite from Standard Bank to present this exhibition and give a masterclass. It became very fitting for me because the work that I do communicate exactly the way they portrayed it for me.
What I find interesting, you've obviously got pictures of some of our icons, jazz icons, and I'll take jazz as a music a genre of music. Some people see it as exclusive, so we're talking about accessibility here. So the intersections that you draw between music, between mother tongue, something that somebody grew up with, but that is accessible. How do you also draw, connect those dots?
You see, when you grow up in an environment where you don't have to go out of your way to express yourself, this expression comes in many forms: poetry, photography, writing, all of that. But mine came in a very simple way because I really didn't go out of my way to translate what my community, which in this case was jazz, it came to me in the way that I saw it. So I really didn't go out of my way to explain it. I mean, that's why you see those images. You could read the music by just looking at the image because it's already communicating to you as it was shot. You shoot it in that way so that it communicates without really putting a caption on it or say much about it.
But that's fascinating for me because, I mean, at some point you talk about how you listen to the music, you can identify, so you start writing it in your own language and you go out in the streets. But as an unspoken language, how do you then introduce something as sometimes difficult as contemporary jazz, for instance, and make it easy to absorb for someone who's not interested, but who can find a spiritual, non-Western connection?
You see, that is a difficult part because, like I said, you have to understand the genre of music so that you can translate it that way. So for me, I have a pile of music that I listen to. I collect vinyls, I play classic jazz. So all the time, whenever I go to an event, whenever I go to, and sometimes this happens on and off stage. If I go to a gig, I go there prepared. I must have listened to the artist playing, also even understand the background and get to know them as well because they behave differently and you can't translate artists the same way with another one. If you take into Duza and you take Begim Saleh, sometimes the music sounds similar, but they appear differently. So you are able to understand how each genre or each artist behaves so that you can translate that music. Or that theme.
Do they see themselves in your interpretation? And how does this then contribute to indigenous knowledge production that gives people the confidence to be able to borrow from that, reflect themselves and others, and yet everybody has individual ownership of their works, their feelings, and the art?
It is the most difficult thing because as much as this is my third exhibition on jazz, and it's always been, and if you look at my previous work, I never put captions on them. I never even put the year. I've been shooting for about 32 years now. And this has always been the task that I'm going to adapt into the space where you are able to do the work the way it's supposed to be done, rather than just read a manual and then you go back and you do it. So it has to absorb in you and translate it in a way that is supposed to be. I'm not sure if I'm answering that correct.
No, I don't think there is a correct answer. It's an absolutely
Okay.
individual experience. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I'm sure some people will be even intrigued by this to go out and enjoy this, see this exhibition of yours. And it's called Introducing Photography in Mother Tongues. Siphiwe Mhlambi, photographer, thank you so much for speaking to us as part of the Standard Bank Arts Festival.